The storm caused severe damage to homes and businesses. Some Rosemont at Oak Valley tenants in Southeast Austin are just now moving back into their homes a year later. But there are some residents at the affordable housing complex who didn't have the option to temporarily move. Those tenants are still living with damage that includes missing interior walls and large holes in their ceilings. The KVUE Defenders took a closer look at what's being done to help the tenants. Here's investigative reporter Jenni Lee.
Here's the first issue that we have.
A hole in his bathroom ceiling doesn't rattle Derek Rubio.
This is the trippy one.
But this,
you can imagine, you're doing your thing,
is what nightmares are made of.
What worries me is there's some critters coming out.
With half the wall gone, he fears it's an entrance for rodents or other critters escaping the cold.
In my mind, I'm thinking that. So, I'm like, you better hurry up.
That hole is like others we see throughout the apartment. All of them are covered with plastic and duct tape after apartment maintenance cut out partial walls and ceilings that were once water and mold damaged. Rubio says some were caused by the winter storm, some were there before.
Yeah.
In another bathroom, Rubio tells me how not having a wall has made for some uncomfortable moments.
Can you hear?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We actually have a conversation sometimes too.
Oh my God. Give me some more toilet paper.
Yeah. No, seriously.
But the missing walls near his front door are no laughing matter.
You can see through them.
Rubio says you can see and hear his neighbors through where the wall once stood. Not to mention how cold it gets inside his apartment when the temperature drops outside. That's why he bought this magnetic curtain to try to keep the cold air out.
It's ridiculous. This isn't a livable condition.
But these conditions are how Rubio, a cancer survivor, his mother, and his 12-year-old son have been living with for months.
Very unsafe.
It's not just Rubio. In a neighbor's apartment, several possums were caught after coming through the plastic. Pictures of another apartment in Rosemont show missing walls and holes in ceilings.
What is happening to these tenants is horrific.
Gabby Garcia is the project coordinator for Building and Strengthening Tenant Action, or BASTA, an advocacy group for renters. The nonprofit group has been trying to help residents at Rosemont and Oak Valley with their housing issues for months.
These tenants have been through so much, and so much of this could be fixed with just transparency, accountability, and they've done none of that.
Garcia says some tenants are too scared to talk about their issues on camera for fear of retribution from apartment management, but not Keisha Prince.
Who lives without walls for that long?
We first met Prince a year ago when water from the winter storm soaked her ceiling, walls, and floors.
It was buckling and the walls were buckling.
Repairs were made after KVUE got involved. But months later in July, Prince and 86 other families received vacate letters. Rosemont management cited necessary repairs caused by the winter storm as the reason. Renters had until the end of the month to move out.
So that doesn't give me enough time, even if I want to move somewhere else. Because I tried to look for an apartment, but there's nothing available.
Neighbors took their concerns to Travis County commissioners who voted to halt the evictions and support the tenants. 41 of the 87 families ended up moving out. Even after commissioners intervened, frustrations continue for tenants. Residents say communication problems and repair issues persisted. In December, neighbors and tenant group BASTA held a press conference after Rosemont's owners, the Strategic Housing Finance Corporation, released a statement citing all repairs were complete and residents were moving back in. BASTA and residents couldn't believe it.
Today we're here to shine light on the fact that SHFC is trying to just sweep all of this under the rug and is continuing with saying trust us, trust us, trust us, yet reality says something different.
BASTA says it hired a mold remediation company and tested 2 apartments that had undergone repairs. The group says both tests discovered mold.
We've never committed ourselves to addressing the issues specifically related to mold.
That's Patrick Howard, the vice president of the Strategic Housing Finance Corporation, the company that owns Rosemont and 13 other affordable housing units in Travis County. While SHFC is a nonprofit, it's not a traditional one. It doesn't pay taxes, but it does own some for-profit affordable housing complexes, not Rosemont. Howard also says he has been trying to educate Rosemont residents that insurance money the company has received only allows for repairs related to the winter storm, not issues that were present before, like some of the mold.
So we're not suggesting that there is no mold anywhere, because obviously there is mold, and we'll address that. But we're addressing the issues related to moisture related to the storm, which means you can move back into your unit because it is safe.
Howard says they are working with the few tenants who do have immediate mold issues. As for residents like Rubio, living with partial interior walls and ceilings, Howard says they are working on those apartments as fast as they can. But until then, Prince says she won't stop fighting for her neighbors.
They go home to safe, mold-free apartments every night. And all we get is more promises and more promises and more promises.
Which is how she got herself appointed to one of the 2 new tenant positions on the Strategic Housing Finance Corporation Board of Directors in January.
I want to thank y'all for looking into putting tenants on the board. I think that is something that's going to be epic.
An effort Travis County leaders recognize and say they hope will make a difference.
I don't ever again want there to be such a disconnect between the board and the court. And I hope that you will take the opportunity to help educate us as to what you see and what you believe needs to happen there.
These 2 rooms were fully wet.
In January, we accompanied Prince on a walkthrough of her recently repaired apartment. As of February 7th, she has yet to move back into Rosemont. The mother of one says she has no intention of it either until she's satisfied the unit is safe.
How much more patience do we need?
For the KVUE Defenders, I'm Jenni Lee.
Prince and the second Rosemont tenant appointed to the Strategic Housing Finance Board are expected to start at next month's meeting. Prince says their appointments will go a long way in protecting tenants' rights. You can find out more about SHFC on our website, KVUE.com.